Good afternoon, my name is Fernando Gomez. Today I'm going to be talking about Down syndrome kids. Now, I think when we talk about Down syndrome, it's like a big term, so I'm going to narrow this topic into three main points. The first one is I'm going to be talking about how people tend to misinterpret this Down syndrome term. The second one is why people tend to look at these kids different from us. And finally, I'm going to be talking about a person who was born in Europe and who was able to convince the people to see this topic as a normal one. So, when we talk about Down syndrome, we gotta understand what it is. First of all, it's a genetic disorder that happens in one of 800 babies in the US every single year. Normally, when the time of the conception comes, the baby gets their genetic information from their parents in a form of 46 chromosomes, meaning that 23 is from the mother and the other 23 is from the father. But with Down syndrome kids is way different. What happens with them is they get an extra one in the number 21, an extra chromosome, the number 21, and people tend to look at this as different, abnormal, or weird based on their features, what happens to them. They tend to have different physical features. They tend to have a slow development. That's why we see these kids small, or they don't have uh, the lack of communication as we do. So some physical features that they have is that they have a flat face, for example. For example, they have big ears. They cannot control their movements. They tend to be very strong, and they tend to not comprehend any kind of words sometimes. So I think families are like a big important role with these people. They tend to help them. I have a brother who has Down syndrome. We tend to help him. We used to give him therapy. He was not able to crawl, to walk, or to speak, so he was able to go to a doctor where he was able to have therapy, and he learned a lot of stuff. He was getting help from his parents, from his brothers, his siblings, and I think that's very important from a Down syndrome kid. Now, with people who misinterpret this topic, we'll have a quote or a saying that I have in life, meaning that when people don't know what the topic means, when people don't really care about the situation, they tend to fear the term, fear the people, and when they fear something, they try to push it away or to sometimes not respect it. In this case, I've seen people calling Down syndrome kids retards, Mongolian kids, or imbeciles. And we gotta understand that these people, they have a slow development. They didn't decide to come in this world the way they did. So we gotta understand the features, their life, and that's when this big person, one of the smartest person in Europe, Pablo Pineda, comes in this topic. He was he is a really smart person. He is surprisingly a person who was able to give speeches around the world, able to convince everyone that this topic is not an abnormal one. It's pretty normal, uh, and he did a lot of his life. He was a university graduate, an awarded actor. He was an author. He's a teacher. He's a motivational speaker who inspires people, and of course, he has Down syndrome. Now, this person was able to win a lot of awards. He was able to see this topic as different from us. But he once said, when we talk about Down syndrome, you have to fight. You have to get in society with Down syndrome people usually tends to go in a different direction. He said that he stays with the normal ones, while the Down syndrome people go to their organizations, their parents, and their little tiny world. This means that Pablo is a person who doesn't care about what people say. He doesn't care about all the critiques, all the people that say all the bad stuff, negative stuff about Down syndrome, and he tries to put himself into the group of the normal people. So when he won an award for his acting, he told in an interview, he said, "It makes me very mad that they say that because they do it to justify their lack of improvement, they used to stop trying for the rest. I think it's not true. I always tell parents not to pay attention to the fact that I've been in a movie, that I have a career. That is not important. What is important is that you can do it, and your parents have to teach you and encourage you. After all, you can do anything." So Pablo right now, he works in a company called Adeco Group Foundation, and he's able to do TED Talks around the world where he can convince people. And at the end, he just tells everyone that nothing is impossible and we should see this topic as a normal one. So at the end, people must understand, people must comprehend and respect Down syndrome kids. Thank you.